And for us, we really wanted to deliver the furniture as fast as possible. By the time, I met the owner of the project, it turned out that the person owned a venture capital firm, right? And the person was like, what you are building has the potential to become a made.com or something much more bigger for Africa. And it would be nice for us to invest in something like this and see it grow. So another thing is, and I think the second lesson here would be that people are watching, right? People are watching, people are seeing what you're doing. The truth is the investors are looking for deals. That's just the truth. Investors are looking for deals. They're looking for things to invest in. They're looking for the next big thing. And it's always good to kind of position yourself for those opportunities when they come, right? Because they're apparently looking for deals. And one thing is when you get investment and all of that. So I would say we getting investment wasn't me trying to search or reach out to investors. It was more or less they saw what we were doing at Taeillo. They saw the potential of what it could be, and they decided to invest. And from there we raised our seed round. After then, they saw that we were able to turn things around so fast. We're growing in multiples in a short period of time. And further to that time, we're currently raising another proper round, which is much larger. So in we doing that, obviously, we had to show the track record of things that we've done, show them how much we've grown in a short period of time. And, reaching out to investors, the truth is investors are looking for deals. So once they see what the next big thing is, they are happy to just jump on it because obviously they also want returns too as well. So basically that's just our Taeillo funding story.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Okay, so I will just ask 2 questions just to stir, the conversation to certain areas, and then I'll let people ask you their questions. So for me, I would like to ask you, when you started your business, were there things, because a lot of entrepreneurs, what we find is that a lot of entrepreneurs don't usually have the necessary capital to do things. And because your company is a production company, it's carpentry, there's a lot of funds and capital. So I would like to ask how you started initially, and then how you were able to fund the business till you got the much needed capital that you got.
Yeah, so I would say a lot of people think starting up a furniture business is so capital intensive. Luckily, when I was starting Taeillo, I was still a student, right? As a student, nobody was going to give me a loan. My parents weren't supportive of the whole idea of starting a business. And what I did was to basically look for how to start a furniture business with zero capital, right? And I would say that I started Taeillo with zero funding. So growing Taeillo has majorly been plowing back the profits of the business back. Starting a business, you really don't have to wait for funds or stuff to come in. And this is the reason why. We have technology now, so you can leverage technology to do a lot of things, right? When we're starting out, we didn't have showrooms, I didn't have employees, I didn't have a factory. But we're selling furniture and we're shipping furniture, right? Along the line, we started exploring the options of grants. So we got a couple of grants here and there. But to be honest, in this modern day and time, especially for creatives, right? There are a lot of ways to approach, starting up a business without necessarily, setting up a huge infrastructure and all of that. And all you have to do is just leverage technology. So I'll cite instances where Taeillo leverage technology. So for instance, we don't have a showroom, but what we do is we have augmented reality and virtual reality, for people to try out. We use things like UGCs from customers, to kind of show people those pieces to generate trust and all of that. So we really don't even need to have physical showrooms of thousands of square meters where people have to come around, right? Another thing is to also leverage existing infrastructure. So at the initial stage, Taeillo didn't have a big factory, although we now have a factory now. But what we did was to leverage existing infrastructure of people who already have existing factories to do that. So there are a lot of ways to start a business without investing so much upfront. You can start that when you see some traction, you can then apply for grants, bootstrap a bit, then maybe go ahead and raise venture funds. I don't know if that answers the question.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So right now we have less than 10 minutes to go. So I'm just going to take 1 or 2 questions. So please, if you want to ask a question, please raise up your hand and then I'm going to pick you. So I'll just look through, and the first set, so you need to tap the the raise hand button so that I can see you. So so Dennis has raised his hand up. So Dennis, please unmute yourself and ask your question. I'll make it very short, so that another person can ask that question.
So I'm Dennis Kerry. I have a company. It's an umbrella company, initiative for African youths. So I'm trying to leverage them to start thinking, the Kenyan youth thinking in a Pan-African way. This is a design company that you're trying to tap into the culture, to the roots where people are, the forgotten roots, the forgotten culture now, on leveraging technology. How can I use virtual reality and augmented reality to fast track these initiatives so that people can be able to be taken to the roots? For example, I like the way this new movie with the Woman King, the way they have leveraged the traditions of the kingdom of Dahomey. So I'm trying to do something similar in Kenya, and I like your help to understand how I can approach such a company, VR companies, maybe here in Kenya or maybe elsewhere in Nigeria also, or any other country in Africa, so that we can partner with them or even try, how can I approach them, and so that we can collaborate on the same. Thank you.
So we'll take Dennis' question. Jumoke, do you understand Dennis' question? I think he's asking how he can build partnerships and get funding for his VR company.
I think there's a whole lot of buzz around metaverse now. I know, like when I was in Kenya, I met with someone who is currently building something around what you're doing. I think she's gotten like a couple of grants and a couple of funding for doing that. What she does is, I think she's American, then moved to Kenya, trying to like promote African culture, leveraging virtual reality events and all of that. Maybe what I would do is to probably like just link you up with her, and their company. Maybe you check them out and see if there can be like some form of synergy on what you guys can do. But I feel like things like virtual reality would really help in trying to simulate experiences for people that can't, for instance, experience it physically. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, please. How can I share our contacts, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I would share with the creative economy team, and they'll share with you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jumoke. So the next person is Adefemi. Over to you. Please unmute your mic.
My name is Adefemi Bello, and I'm trying to develop an online presence where people who are going into creative space can learn creative skills like photography, like art, alternative music. So, and also to help them to sell in terms of stock photo website. So I'm trying to find it very difficult to know how to approach it. So what's the model, the business model is meant to do is to connect creative people, with innovators who are, creative people who are already made name, who are already like someone like Ocean 7 to be able to co-create with them so they can be able to learn and get inspired to know how to create good art. So I'm finding it very difficult to know how to approach that very well and also to get funding. So how do I go about it?
I know like one of the ways maybe you can like approach it is to kind of create, I know of this platform called Masterclass.
Yes.
So like maybe you have like a masterclass kind of thing where people like this, kind of shoot those videos, and maybe you probably like put them up on your site, or you create your own kind of masterclass. Then maybe people have to pay to watch them, or if you think that you want to do it free of charge. So it becomes like a digital school for learning. I think guys like also do something like that where they teach people how to code. There are a lot of platforms coming up like that. There's another one called ALX where it's more or less like a virtual school where you pay for it.
Virtual school, exactly.
So it's a virtual school where you have lots of courses and you pay for a course, and and I think it's not that expensive to just set up ring lights, maybe create a mini studio, and just get to have them. So for instance, one of the things that can be attractive to those guys is you tell them that maybe you give them shared, you guys shared profits when, people buy their courses. And also they can also kind of push their courses by themselves because, for instance, if people use their referral codes to watch the courses, they are getting paid. So I think I feel like maybe that's one of the ways, but
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay, so is there somebody else who wants to ask a question? We can take one more question. We have 5 minutes remaining. Okay, so Issa is raising up his hand. Okay, so Issa, please unmute your mic and then ask your question.
Yes, I run a creative community and a media company. So what we do is that we bring together like a community of creatives across different industries like music, arts, fashion. And from my experience, because I'm a creative myself, like in Abuja, it's hard to get like funding or sponsorships for certain things that we do as creatives. So I myself have applied for a couple grants and I've gotten them. So what I do is try to create opportunities or share opportunities with creatives to access this sort of funding. But in the long term, I'm actually trying to look for a way to maybe get funders to come to Abuja or maybe start a fund for these creatives, because our long-term goal is to build like a creative village where we can kind of like house all these creatives and give them services like management services, access to opportunities and the likes. So I wanted to know if what your thoughts about that are, and if there's any way you could like direct me with this idea that we have, because the goal is to make Abuja the top creative city in Africa.
Yeah, so is it like you are trying to start a creative school, or like how does it work?
Yeah, something like a creative school. That's the long-term goal.
So what's the short-term goal?
The short-term goal is just to keep building the community, because like since we started in the last 3 years, what we do is we create opportunities by putting on events for these creatives to showcase their work, for them to network, to share ideas. But now we've almost reached like a stumbling block where funding is mainly an issue and we don't know how to address that problem for the community.
Is there like any form of traction that you guys have generated or something? Because for instance, maybe if I probably see like the pitch deck or maybe something explaining it, I might be able to like maybe spots where maybe some places where you have to work on, because it's not maybe just like trying to set up maybe something, right? Like for instance, if I have to do this or put money into it, except if it's like an impact fund or something like that, I need to see how maybe, for instance, the community will sustain itself. I need to see how maybe some returns would come back after a period of time. All those things are really kind of very important. So I feel like maybe where the issue is right now might be, how you are positioning it. Do you understand? So I think that part is something that we might have to look at. Do you get?
Yes. So how do I get like maybe a pitch deck, or how do I go about that, getting it to you or someone?
So you can just share it via the the CCL Creative Economy people. I think they should get it to me. Then I'll just pass my copy and do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's fine.
Okay, so thank you so much. I think that was Issa. I didn't get your name, but thank you for the question. And thank you so much, Jumoke, for answering. So we've gotten to the end of this particular session, and then we're going to be swapping. So please just hold on. What will happen is that Jumoke would move to the other room, and then Rofem will come here. Okay, so please just hold on. We're going to have the next speaker here. So thank you so much, Jumoke. If you really enjoyed Jumoke's session, please say thank you to her. Say thank you in the chat box. The chat box actually works. So please just use the chat box to say thank you, Jumoke. Thank you very much. And then if you have any question, please write it in the chat box. So when Rofem is here, you can ask him. Hi, Rofem. Hello.
Hi, guys. Apologies for the delay.
Hi. So everyone, this is Rofem. Welcome, Rofem. Thank you so much, Rofem, for coming. So Rofem is just going to start his session. And then afterwards, we're going to allow you to ask him any questions. So Rofem, over to you.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Toby. So I realized that my time limit is actually not that long. So I'll try to pass across as much information as I can, but also try to make it interactive. So I think I'd like to start by asking questions. So has anyone here ever received funding as a business, whether it's grants, whether it is VC money, whether it is debt? Has anyone ever received outside money besides what they put into their business? You can leave it in chat box. Can I say a yes? Dean, Ajibola says no. If it says it says yes. So can you tell me what kind of funding did you get, Dean and Isa and George? What kind of funding? Was it equity? Was it grants? What kind of funding? Grants by parents. Okay, that was really nice. So before we kick off, typically I come from a venture technology background. So the way we see businesses are more of as we define startups differently from what a lot of people might define startups, right? So typically we see startups as businesses that are fast growing, and typically when they're fast growing means that they're growing from 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000, or rather from 1,000 to 5,000 to 20,000. So so exponential growth, not just like incremental growth. We see SMEs as businesses that grow incrementally. And typically we see startups as ones that are technology enabled, so not necessarily being software developers, but then also using the internet to improve like the distribution. So like we've spoken with Jumoke, and she's one of those kind of founders. So if she wasn't on the internet, she probably would be a SME, but she used the internet to scale exponentially. So she's a very, very venture backable. Now, from that definition, how would you define your business? What would you see your business as an SME or as a startup? Or I'd like to see comments in the chat box. Startup. Okay, nice to see startup founders. Okay, so as you mentioned, startups, like what industry? Gaming. That's nice. Then you probably should speak. Games. Suzanne too. So we're interested to see what you guys are building from that industry. Music and creative. Nice. The internet has really opened up to like a variety of business models and opportunities as globally and also as Africans, right? So imagine 20 years ago, you're building a gaming business or you're building a creative industry business. Now the truth is that a lot of funding has gone into the startup space, but the truth is that there's also funding for SMEs. It just depends on how you structure your business model and your how you structure a business model basically. And also you can transition from being an SME to being an internet-enabled business. I think we all are these days, right? To be honest, at the end of the day, internet businesses are all about packaging. So let's take Eating Life, for example. Eating Life is a concierge business. What do? They bring food to you every day, and you're able to book cleaners. The businesses have been doing that for eternity. Or is it Market Force? Market Force helps mom and pop shops get supplies. That's the distributor work. Before, so mom and pop shops have to go to like bigger markets to go and get this goods, right? Now Market Force is bringing it to them. There's no difference between Market Force. The difference between Market Force and other distributors is that Market Force uses internet and connects to logistics and creates a convenience, right? But they're not different from the traditional business models. So you can always transition your SME to a startup by picking your or improving your business model to provide convenience for customers through the internet. But regardless, I'll just talk a bit about like funding, right? So, or does anyone have any? So maybe I should ask here. Has anyone faced any challenges raising funding at this in their business so far? Or what challenges you face so far raising funding? I'd really like some comments in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic if you want to speak. You can mute your mic if you want to speak. So, what challenge have you faced as a business raising funding? Okay. So who's that? Is that Dean or Dennis? Who wants to go first? Okay, hi Dennis.
Hello. Thank you for this session. Great knowing you guys. I've faced challenges in funding since it's a new initiative that I've started. K-Design Co is an umbrella initiative where it has involves also culture, climate justice, and also trying to access opportunities for the youth here in Kenya. And how can I try to access funds through not only grants, by partnerships, by partnering with other like-minded individuals or companies or organizations? Can you advise me on that, please? Thank you.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice to hear what you're doing. But it's also interesting where you are. So, Dean, do you want to go next? Majority of publishers I speak to who do not really understand the opportunities in the African games. Okay, fair enough. Wanjiku, you unmuted your mic at one point in time. Do you want to speak?
Oh, I wanted to advise the participants to raise their hands if they wanted to make a contribution.
Yeah, so if you have more challenges, right, put them in the chat box. So to address your problem, Dennis, so the first one is you're a new business, right? You want to get more funding besides grants. The truth is that there's a life cycle of funding for businesses. So us as investors, before we put money into businesses, we typically like to see that the founder has put in some of their own bit of capital and has been able to get friends and families, sometimes they call fools, to so we call it F and F. So to put in capital in the business, but then also you might not necessarily need. So depending on how profitable your business model is, you could get credits right from the banks before getting VC funding or getting equity investors. But that's if you're operating a model that generates revenues and profits and whatnot. Now, what I'm hearing is that you're looking for partners. Now, just for clarity, is it that you're looking for a co-founder, or are you looking for people who you can work with? They might have entirely different organizations from yours, but you want to partner with them too. And also, what's the goal of these partnerships? Is it to save costs, to expand reach? What exactly is your goal?
Yeah, the partnerships was to expand to expand the reach, and also mostly is expanding the reach from Nairobi to other grassroots communities, because we find that the brilliant youths in those areas, but we cannot be able to reach them. So we're looking for partners who can able to go, for example, in places like Lamu is in the coast region, or places like Turkana, that is in the northern region, or even places in the lakeside, that is the western region. So these partners are to have that fine reach. Yeah, and also if we can able to partner in terms of helping each other fund some youths, also empower them, that would be great.
Okay, that's interesting. What you're trying to achieve, right? And that can be difficult. Partnerships are not straightforward, particularly because it requires different interest aligning. So first of all, you've identified what your interest is, right? So you want to expand your reach. Now, is there anything beyond expanding your reach that has to be taken? You have to take note of that. Then the other thing is that you have to, besides, you have to now identify, okay, who are the potential people that fit a certain profile or that I want to work with. So if you're trying to get expand your reach to in certain regions, right? Are there, say, education communities that of like-minded people that I can be part of? So I would typically think of, say, universities. Are there people in other university communities in certain areas where I can gain I can find individuals I want to work with. But then also you have to think of, okay, look, what value am I giving to them? So you might think that your work is very important and is needed, right? But at the same time, you have to be giving value to other people who are part of your partnership, or who are part of who you want to bring into your partnerships, right? So that's value prop. You have to identify your value prop. You have to be able to profile where you'll be able to find these kind of people, but then also you have to define what kind of value proposition you're giving to these partners, because it's not just about you taking, you also have to give to individuals, right? So whether it's in form of like capital compensation, whether it's in form of expanding their capacity, there has to be like it's not just about you taking, you also have to define what you're giving and ensure that your interests align. So now Dean highlights one problem that's very interesting. So right now you're in an industry that is dominated largely by American and European publishers, right? And nobody, they don't think about the African market as it's a proper market. They group us with the EMEA region, and that's just to have us be part of a region, right? So it's hard distributing your product. So the other question is, I think that's one thing that we as Africans have to do, is that we have to look at our interests, right? So if the West isn't where you're going to get most of get your partnerships today, I've been looking eastward. But then also, I know it sounds cliche, but also looking inward, are there like partners in Africa that can actually distribute that? Or are there collectives that you can come together with to form like these partnerships you need for effective distribution? It's a unique challenge, right? And it's a challenge that also as investors we see when we take on businesses with unique business models like yours. So it's not exactly a straightforward. It's not a straightforward answer, I guess. Like, and also like there needs to be a lot more research into this. But I think once we expand like all opportunities we have, and then also like if there are ways in which we can collaborate, that is with other similar creatives or people in the same industry, it could be we can actually like achieve our goals, right? But I think that as the ecosystem is evolving, we'll like start to see more people look at our segments. I'd like to look at what's happening in entertainment, and I think that's going to happen with other industries on the continent. Now I see that Suzanne has had a hand up. Suzanne, do you want to ask any questions?
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So my question is preparing your books. Games company, and for us to publish more of our games or hard to.
Okay, I'm trying to hear you. It's breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's clear now. Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying that I run a games company, and it's been trying to develop, the games that we've created to, mobile, and has been a bit, difficult. So we went with a different strategy of creating experiences, that's custom experiences for corporate organizations. And in less than a year, I know we've made over 15 million in revenue, but we know that the next step for us is to automate and take things digital. So currently we are putting our documents together and just trying to balance our books and all of that. I think the next step would be, the question for me is, how do we reach the kind of investors that's might be able to pitch to. Of course, there are people that I've seen that do or that invest in businesses and plan on reaching out to them. But is there like a group or I don't know the word for it now, but a way to just reach investors that are looking for businesses to invest in?
Okay, thanks for your question, Suzanne. So, you have what you call angel networks. They're typically a group of individuals who are HNIs or they've made like significant income from their day jobs and are looking to support SMEs or startups. Now they've been investing They've been investing, like for example, in Nigeria, we have Lagos Business Network, I believe. Then there's African Business Network. I know there's a Nairobi Business Angels. There's something similar in Rwanda, and there are lots of them in South Africa. So there are angel networks where there are individuals who might be able to cut checks of like 5K, 10K, and 15K to that add up. And these guys were actually very instrumental in developing the ecosystem we have today. And a lot of people are forgetting about them because now we focus on the main VCs. So think of the Andrea Afalis of this, Andrea Lee of this world. Think of Tommy Davis. These guys started as angels. So even Boston Tijani was an angel. Was still an angel, but basically the angel networks, right? Now these angel networks have now morphed into syndicates, but the syndicates are more or less like micro VCs or venture capital funds. So if you're looking to raise, I advise, and you're looking to collect like outside money, or advise you first go to angel networks. Go to angel networks, then go to accelerators. There are a lot of accelerators now in Africa. So we have accelerators from time to time and focus on various verticals. But then there are accelerators that are sponsored by the likes of Microsoft, IBM, and Google. So they pop up from time to time. They're a good source of getting capital to be able to support your business early on, but then also support in terms of like, say, rent, or in terms of like resources, so like being able to develop your product. So do you need like product testing, or do you need like product reviews? Do you need advice on your go-to-market strategy? So those accelerators tend to have accelerators and incubators too also tend to like provide this kind of support. So they give you that cash, but then also like additional support that you need to develop your business to be more sustainable. So in terms of like approach, I'll say before you go to all the big name VCs, speak with the angel network, reach out to angel networks, look out for accelerators and incubators. Now, when you're reaching out to angel networks, these guys typically want to see at least a deck. So you need to have like a pitch deck that explains the problem you're solving, your solution, your value proposition, and important things about typically it's like a 12 to 20 page document which visually explains what you're trying to do. We tend to advise that your pitch deck be graphic as possible, be very, very visual, right? But then also aesthetically pleasing. So you need a deck, you need a financial model, and you need a business plan. Business plan will also be very helpful to you as a business, as when you're raising money from angels, because these guys typically tend to be from the traditional side. So while the VC investors might tell you that these days that, you don't need a business plan and financial model, when you're speaking with angels, be ready to have a business plan, because these guys are used to, they made money from, say, oil and gas or from real estate, and your pitch deck is nice, right? But they're used to business plans. So don't listen to anyone that tells you that you don't need a business plan to start up. Have that business plan, it helps you. So in terms of like documentations, that is typically what you will need. You will need to be able to at least keep good records of your revenue and your costs. You might not be perfect because you don't have an accountant, but just ensure that you're able to maybe use software like Wave, or just a very proper use templates basically to keep track of like your financials, because you might be asked for that. You might be asked for a financial model. You can always find a template for that online, or I would advise that you get, so maybe if you can get like someone who say a friend to help you build a financial model, because financial models can be expensive, that'll be helpful. But if not, you can get like an online template and then fill it out. So those are the kind of documents that you would have and that you will need. And those are the kind of documents you need basically, and those are the kind of people that I advise you speak with early on before going for the VCs, like say an Aggressive or a CC Hub syndicate, because we look at it and say, well, it's too early stage, and that we can't participate. But it's helpful when you're able to, but when you've gone through that whole incubation acceleration process, that you've spoken to like angel networks. So in fact, I think incubators and accelerators first before angel networks, because the accelerators are able to guide you on what you need as a founder in terms of unlocking funding. So quick one for the startups here, has anyone applied to an accelerator before?
Rofem, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have around 5 minutes, so we should be wrapping up now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for that, Anjiko. So I think we have like 5 more minutes. Does anyone have any other questions? So let me just ask this: has anyone tried applying for an accelerator or any entrepreneurial support in your previous business? So Susan, would you be open to like joining an accelerator program now as an entrepreneur with your new business?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Would you be keen on like an accelerator right now?
I would say no because of the kind of industry I'm in. For the previous business that I had, it was in retail for fashion.
Yeah.
A couple of accelerator programs which I think helped, and I'm also applying some of the things I learned there in my current business. But for what we're trying to do right now, an accelerator would be slow growth for us, and I don't have a lot of in fact, in Nigeria we don't have too many people who understand the games industry, so I also have to do a lot of development for the kind of talents that I want. So it's a lot of work trying to juggle that and juggle talent development too.
Yeah, I get you. But also know that like there are other opportunities like for that niche, not just in Nigeria, but like across the continent and maybe even international. So you can actually like find like specific accelerators for your business. I have even like founders that we've actually invested in that VC stage, they still go from like maybe one accelerator or the other because like it's actually a very quick way to get funding, right? So like you might get a grant of 50K, which might be a lifeline that you might need for like unlocking the next stage of your growth. So I won't discourage you from maybe not a plain vanilla accelerator, but something more specific for gaming, and it doesn't have to be local. Thinking international, because at the end of the day, YC is an accelerator, and everybody tries to get to YC, and that one gives you like a seat in the table in front of people who you wouldn't have gotten access to if you were not in an accelerator. George, do you want to ask a question?
Oh yes, I just wanted you to maybe briefly tell us which kind of businesses you've invested in, especially around the creative business side.
Okay. Thanks for that. So, well, you met Taeillo today. So Taeillo is probably our first investment in the creative space. So yes, there's a bit of like manufacturing to it, but it's still Jumoke first of all is a creator or a designer before anything. But we're looking to invest in more actually. So it's a new industry that we're actively looking to invest in. So there'll be a lot more opportunities in the future. So I think.
Thank you very much, Rofem. We will be going back to the main rooms now. Unfortunately, time has run out. Thank you so much for your time. This was a very insightful session, and I'm sure all the participants can agree. So I'll encourage everyone to leave the room and go back to the main room now. Thank you.
And I want to believe that we've learned one thing today from our mentors. So the floor is open now for questions and answers. If you have any questions from your group, or there was a question you wanted to ask Jumoke before you left your group, this is a good time to ask a question. So let's do that quickly. You can use the chat box, or you can unmute yourself if you want to speak directly to them.
Hi, this is George Robert. Just to say, I think Jumoke's story is quite interesting and inspiring. I'm a lawyer, entertainment lawyer. I'm also a DJ and artist, and I'm also building a creative business. And one of the challenges I've realized in the Africa music scene is that most of the electronic equipment we are using comes from either China or Europe. So local manufacturing for things like speakers is there are people who are doing it, but they don't have access to the kind of knowledge that, for instance, Pioneer DJ has. And so I am inspired that at least there's some manufacturing story going on, because I think we also need, as Africans, to put in investment in local manufacturing. So I have an affinity for speakers, and I think I've taken 1 or 2 lessons from.
Thank you, George. Priscilla is asking a question too. Can both mentors please tell us a bit about how they have approached strategic business partnerships? How does a small business come up with a value proposition that appeals to a bigger brand they are looking to partner with to get a yes? So anybody can go first, be it Jumoke or Rofem first.
I think Jumoke probably has like a lot of things to say about this, approaching like strategic partnerships. But basically, us from like an investor perspective, like when we try to cultivate partnerships for our portfolio companies, we tend to think of first of all, do the brands align? Because it's a big brand, right? They can help with distribution, but then also before you can have that conversation with them, if there's no alignment between like what they want to do with big picture, it's very hard to have like to have that conversation with them, or to have like an entry point, right? So as a small business, you're not too much on the demanding side, right? You have to kind of align yourself, or kind of you have to like basically like center around what the bigger brand is trying to achieve. So your focus is, look, I have what I want to offer these guys, right? But and I know that these are the guys that I want, but is my value proposition going to align with their big vision? So you have to understand what their big vision is and what they're trying to cultivate. So that's where we see it. But I think Jumoke will probably be able to provide like more depth to this.
Okay, for everybody, I have good news for you. Jumoke has already said she was going to send out a list of potential investors that can invest in creative businesses. So as soon as we get the list, we'll broadcast this to as many that attended the mentorship and advisory series today. I guess that's good news for you. You can make do with the material sent to you to start poaching for poaching investors for funding. I hope that really sounds nice. Yeah, thank you, yes, Ajibola. I can see your hand.
So awesome.
Okay, I don't know if we have any other question, or it's a good time to ask your question. We still have some time. Ask your questions. The mentors are still here and they're willing to answer your questions. Hi, Odola. Are you having issues with network, or you prefer to drop your question on the chat box? Okay, Isa. Please speak. Unmute your microphone and speak.
Hello?
Yeah, sure, we can hear you.
The question for understand CC Hubs and how it started up.
Can you take that again, please? I didn't get that.
Okay, I said I'm curious to understand CC. This is a question for Rofem. I'm curious to understand CC Hub's business model and how CC Hub started up.
Okay, nice. Rofem, I think it's a good one for you to answer.
So CC Hub has been around for like 11 plus. So maybe how we started off might not be the best person to talk about, because like it's evolved for like over the years. But basically it was started off by Bosun Tijani and two of its co-founders. They were very instrumental in us having the technology ecosystem we have today in Nigeria, and also like broadly speaking, the rest, like the majority of the continent, right? So we've been very instrumental in harnessing collaboration and harnessing like opportunities for founders, whether it's from funding, whether it's from programs and whatnot. I can speak more to the business model side of it, well, maybe like summarize the business model. So basically we have, we're an innovation center. So we what we do cuts across like various facets of the technology ecosystem, from startup support to technology development and research and design using human-centered design principles. So with support, we work with like partners to create programs similar to this to help technology founders and small businesses. So either through acceleration or incubation. We do work in education, healthcare, and governance and digital security and whatnot. But then we also, beyond the programmatic side of it and research, and we have the investment bits, because to support the ecosystem, not just about mentorship and about programs, but also about funding. So I sit on the funding side, and what we do is that we take businesses that have gone through incubation acceleration, or at least are ready to grow, and we fund them, we give them capital, and we're sector agnostic. So we typically go for the hardest problems to solve. So if you look at our portfolio, it's not filled with fintech, it's filled with like, say, we have a lot of healthcare startups. We have credit startups like Taeillo. We do have like 2 fintech investments. But largely we tend to think of ourselves as investors that are looking for founders that are solving wicked problems for Africans. We're sector agnostic. As long as an African business, we are willing to fund if we see that the opportunity is there and market is right. Our stages, we typically like pre-seed to pre-series A. We can do Series A transactions, but pretty much that's where we sit.
Thank you very much, Rofem. I hope that answers your question, Isa. Okay, I don't know, Jumoke, I don't know if you can hear me. Somebody was trying to direct a question to you. Jumoke, can you hear me, please? All right, while we are with Jumoke, we haven't missed the end of this event, and I'd like to appreciate everybody that turned up for the mentorship and advisory series powered by the Creative Economic Practice. I'll just do a brief overview of what the Creative Economic Practice does, who we are, and what we do. Okay, the Creative Economic Practice at CC Hub is a practice that is designed to attend to the needs of creatives. And of course, I'm sure that we have quite a large number of creatives here today, and that's why you're very important to us. Our mission is to enhance job and wealth creation opportunities for creative expressions for Africans, particularly women and young people, through the African creative economy. And how do we do these things? We do it through community and ecosystem development. We connect creative economic sector players to each other and to the technology sector. And we do this through our Starry Spaces, where people access co-working space. I'm sure that the community manager for the Creative Economic Practice would draw so much on this when she's making our announcement. We also achieve our mission through investment readiness, and this covers a full spectrum of capacity development programs for a lot of startups, and this we are doing with our Createch Accelerator program. I'm sure that Precious Aleji can bear witness to this. And we also do achieve our mission through research to understand the landscape of the creative economy and technology across the continent, including key players through key projects, trends, and opportunities. Presently, we are on a project with the African No Filter. And of course, if you follow our social media page a lot, you will see where we're talking about the we're talking about the project with the African North Filter. We're talking about creativity index in Africa. And lastly, we also do achieve our mission through investment, and we do this through Cchub Syndicate. And Rofem is a member of the team for the Cchub Syndicate, and also we're so glad to have him here, and he has talked to us a lot about what investors are looking out for in startups and startup founders. So yeah, that's a brief overview of the creative economy practice at Cchub. I'm sure if you subscribe to our newsletters, you get to know more information about what we do, how we do it, and what we stand for. So yeah, I'll be handing over to Toby, and Toby will be telling us about our forthcoming events and how you can participate in our forthcoming event. Hi, Toby, welcome.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Babake, for that. So thank you everyone for coming. I am so thankful to Jumoke Dada and Rofem for gracing us with their presence and sharing all this insights and their insights on funding and getting necessary investment for your business. So like Omalabake had said, we do have a project called the Starry Spaces, and it's targeted towards creatives. So I know that capital is an important factor of running a business. And so sometimes, having data and an office space to work from can be very expensive, especially when you are bootstrapping. And that's why we have the creative economy practice is giving out free desks and event spaces for creatives to work freely and also host your events. So if you need a co-working space to work in for free, we're giving out free desks 3 times a month, so you have access to the desk space 3 times a month. And then if you want to host an event, say you have some sort of event that you're hosting for creatives, you can use our rooftop for free. And so this is also for our creatives in the Lagos office. That's if you're in Nigeria, or if you're in Kenya, please just fill the form. So there are 2 links. Olajumoke is going to send them to you, and it will be pasted in the chat box. So please ensure that you copy and you paste it on your browser, because we'll be ending the session very soon. So if it's the desk space that you want to use for free is bit.ly/StarryDesk1, and if it's the event space that you want to use for free, it's bit.ly/StarryEvents1. So if it's desk, Starry Desk 1, if it's events, is Starry Events 1. Now, we have so many exciting programs coming up. This Friday, we'll be having our Creator Circle, and we're going to be talking about how to become a content creator. It's a registration. You must register, and the link Jumoke is going to share with you in the comment section. So please register, and let's see you tomorrow to talk about how to become a content creator. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. You need to sign up to our newsletter. I'm going to put the link there. So the newsletter is something that we send every month to just inform you of our programs, anything coming up, events with the Starry Spaces, to remind you to apply and things like that. So please, if you know you're not in our newsletter, please sign up, register and sign up for our newsletters. So if anybody has anything to say, it's bye-bye from me. Thank you so much for registering and showing up today. Thank you for making this event a success. So bye-bye from me, and have an amazing day.
Toby, thank you for the warm welcome, and thank you for the brief announcement. And I also like to say that one of the perks of coming for our Creator Circle is there is free food. Yeah, everybody likes food like me. I'm a foodie, so come join us and have a good time at the Creator Circle tomorrow. Thank you, Rofem. So I want us to head to the chat box and say thank you, Rofem. Thank you, Jumoke. It was such a beautiful time having a conversation with you, sharing from the perspective of being a startup founder and for someone that has worked with startups, helping their portfolio. A feedback form will be shared with you after this call. I'm going to send you an email that will contain the feedback form. I'd like to encourage every one of you to please do well to fill the feedback form, because it's going to help us for subsequent mentorship and advisory programs like this. It will help us, your feedback will help us fine tune our programs and also give us the feedback from what you have to say and how we can help our programs get better. So if there's no other thing to say,
thank you so much for joining this session. Thank you for applying, and thank you for taking your time to be a part of this mentorship session. So see you in the next quarter, when we'll bring to you again another mentorship and advisory section. My name is Omolawake. I work as a program associate for the Creative Economy Practice, and I have Toby Ajibola, who is the community manager at the Creative Economy Practice. I have Jumoke Dada, who also works at the Creative Economy Practice, and we have Wanjiku. Wanjiku, please just say hi. Jumoke, say hi to everybody. Thank you for coming. Wanjiku, please say hi to our friends. Thank you for joining us and today's session.
Everyone.
Thank you, Jumoke. Wanjiku, I didn't even hear your voice.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session. We look forward to having you once again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wanjiku. Just as Toby has said, subscribe to our newsletters and you get first-hand information about all our forthcoming programs all our lined up forthcoming programs that roll out in the course of the year. So yeah, this is from us to you at the Creative Economy Practice City Hub. Do have an amazing day and do have an amazing weekend, because the weekend is closed. So see you and enjoy the remaining days in this week. Bye-bye.